sang this song to me. There was a message in its melody, sweetest lyrics that I ever heard. There's a message in the songs of birds. Tomorrow is another day. Living is the only way tomorrow's gonna ever come. Listen to the words of the song. Everything gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be
Greetings and welcome to A Sip of Inspiration. I'm Stephanie Wilson-Coleman, known as the Empowerment Doctor. And for those who are listening now and those who are listening in the future, I want to thank you guys for joining in. And as usual, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My guest today is Daniel Laudon, but before we go through that, I'm reminded to do some housekeeping. So if you're watching this now, you're watching this both on my Facebook personal page and my Facebook business page and YouTube. So say yay, because we figured it out finally. Later on, it will be uploaded to every place that you watch podcasts. If you want additional information, you can see my website at the bottom is champagneconnection.com. And that is champagne like the liquor, and connection is singular. And you can go out there and play around with some classes and some courses and long courses too, y'all. 13 weeks, I'm not kidding. And you can buy some merchandise and you can just have a good time out there. My books and my newest book is available on that website too. So just look around. And if there's something that's missing, let me know. I'll be happy to fix it. So now, joining me is Daniel Laudon. And he's my new best friend, y'all, because he's going to teach us all some information about how to eat better. Health is our number one priority. And that's what he says. And that's what he believes. And not only is it what he's believed, he's lived it his whole life, which actually makes him an expert. So Daniel is from Millersburg, Ohio. And he's an entrepreneur, food enthusiast, and also the CEO of a company called Nature's Warehouse. He's a believer in natural resources and supplements, and the company is dedicated in promoting natural health. He specializes in resources for mothers, fathers, and individuals to make their own informed decisions about their health and the health of their families. So thank you, Daniel, for agreeing to be here with me today. I am so excited. So welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. Yes, I'm excited too. Like you said, Nature's Warehouse is where I work. I'm the CEO. I'm in partnership with my brother, second generation business, 25 years. But we've been living this. I'm just over 45 now. And I like to tell people I'm certified organic, meaning that I've been this way ever since I was in my mom's eye. So it's been a lifestyle. Now I did, we talked a little bit before, I did stray for a short while, and my health crashed because of that. And so, yeah, I live it every day.
So you were born into this. So tell us a little bit about how that looks.
It's not fun. So you go to Sunday school and everybody gets a sucker, and you have to put yours in your pocket to give it to mom because you'll get in trouble. Go to a birthday party. Sometimes she'd let me have a sliver of cake, but most times I didn't. My mom was extreme. She lived it to extreme. When people came to our house, they a lot of times didn't know how to handle the eating there because of it was different.
So it was different, huh?
Yeah. But it was good. It was good. They moved out of the city to the country. So my parents, I was born in Detroit, Michigan.
Okay.
Right before Detroit, Michigan got, right as it was getting really, really bad. Both my parents had a rough ride through their high school and early 20s. They met there, got married there, and when they didn't want to raise us kids there, so they moved us out to the country, and we tried homesteading. We eventually tried farming. we tried living on the land, and for a young man, that was a life that just you couldn't beat, riding your bike and having cows, and they bought us ponies and chickens, and we did it all. Goats, I milked goats as long as I can remember.
So I laugh because I grew up with chickens and turkeys in my yard too. So I understand you. That's an experience that you can't help anybody understand how much fun that is. That's a lot of fun. So
yeah, it is living, especially for boys. I think girls can do a little bit like I have 4 sisters. I'm the oldest of 7, 4 sisters. It was me and then 4 girls.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then so I had a couple tomboy sisters who were out there with me, and then a couple that were little angels in the house, so we didn't see them much outside. We all had to help with chores though. When it came time for collecting eggs and chores and that type of thing, we all had our responsibilities.
I think that's great. I think that's a fun way to be raised. So how is our health being affected by food? And judging by the length of time you've been in the industry of healthy eating, I mean, we are aware of it now, but it seems like it's been affecting our health for a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while that the devaluation, I like to put it, the devaluation of food, when right after World War II, we were all about, as a country, we were all about doing things better. We were making better cars, making factories were getting, everything was better. Then we had the devaluation of the dollar in the early 70s. And then following that, we had the devaluation of food, where it was more about how can I get more money out of the food. So then we started putting more breading on the chicken. We started putting less healthy breading on the chicken. We started coming up with sodas that had a lot of sugar. Sugar was cheap. It was whatever was cheaper, whatever made the corporation more. And that started in, I believe, right around mid-70s. I suppose it's always been a thing. But in America, our food went downhill. Then you got late 80s when the GMOs and farmers started getting more into it. 2000s when they started shooting cows in animals with hormones to make them produce more.
Yes.
And I spent my teen years working on dairy farms. I think by the time I was 20, I figured out one time I'd worked on 30 different dairy farms. Some were like weekend chores, helping make hay in the summer, that type of thing. And I've seen both spectrums of that. But I have personally, people talk about that stuff. Does it really happen? Yes, I personally helped shoot cows with hormones that would make them produce more milk, or fed chicken, seeing the feed going to the chickens that with the growth hormones. This stuff's going on. And yes, chickens, unbelievable. We used to take 60 months to grow a full-grown chicken. Now we're doing it in 6 weeks. And but the quality wasn't there. The health wasn't there. Is there a residue of these things? No studies were being done. That's how we got here.
So is organic really better? Because we seem to have a movement now toward everything is organic.
Yeah.
So do we really know if that's better?
So, yes. I always get that. I get that question so much. And it's a great question, because yes, it is. It is so important, okay? And organic is so important. I eat as much as possible organic. Everything I have in my house, my fridge is organic. Now, that being said, organic is only good as the chain of custody, the people that touch it. So if I am given the choice to buy organic or to buy from a local farmer, or you're talking about those gardens, somewhere I know the chain of custody, like who touched it, and then I would much rather that than organic, because I don't always know who grew these pineapples and what it came from another country. Does that country have our standards? Does it have our inspections? Why I get so touchy about this is because I know local farmers. I travel a lot from our different warehouses, and we have a warehouse in Indiana. We have a warehouse in Pennsylvania. I live in Ohio, so I'm in all these places. I talk to a lot of farmers. I am yet to meet a farmer that can grow organic garlic less than $5 a pound. Sell it to me at $5 a pound. When I started telling the story, I'm not sure what garlic is right now, but when I started telling the story, the garlic at Aldi's was 59 cents a pound. They were selling it for 59 cents a pound. Organic garlic, 59 cents a pound, but it was from China. So
Right. That's impossible to buy garlic at 59 cents a pound.
So exactly. So if they're following the standards of organic, yes. And if I find out that corn is a big thing, that I won't. Corn is mostly local. Most of the corn is grown out west, and there's a big difference. In the chain of custody, they're following U.S. inspections and all this stuff. You're pretty sure. Garlic, I'm not so sure. So does that answer your question?
Yes, that does. That answers my question. So we really do have to be concerned about the chain of custody. And you're right. A lot of people do have farmers around, even in big cities like Chicago. We've got people who grow in organic gardens. So be sure, if you're listening, to reach out to those and to reach out to your local farmers.
I had never heard before this. You went in a little bit to that, and I'm going to be doing some research after that, because I'm always in these talks, and I've done a lot of them with people in the city, and never somebody from Chicago that comes to my mind right now. But if they did, they never brought it to my attention that there was that type of that you had those opportunities there. That's not in a lot of cities. So that's an amazing thing you have there.
Well, I happened to go on a foraging hike with some people, so that's how I found it. So I don't know that they're standing out for everyone, but they took us to several when we were foraging, trying to figure out what you can eat that grows wild and what you cannot eat from what grows wild. Because so I like my food natural, but in case something happens, I need to know what I can eat that grows wild and not. So.
I love it. I love it.
And we have farmers markets too here, where they come from farms out of Michigan and Ohio, and they're here all summer. And just the taste of the food is just different.
Can I speak into that a little bit? Yes. Farmers markets are a great way to connect, where you don't even have to drive out of the city. You can, most times, if somebody's bringing in produce or something like that, they're probably driving home, and they probably got chickens, and they're growing stuff for themselves, and they know other people. They're in a network of people that have, let's say you like lamb, and once again, a lot of lamb is full of GMOs and all that type of thing. It's not healthy. GMOs you don't even want to get me started on GMOs, because it's so awful and then what it does for you. And anything that's fed corn, 87% of the corn in America has GMOs in it. Most animals' diet, unless it's grass-fed, and they're saying it's grass-fed, has a high level of corn in it, varying, but high level. So corn is one of the fastest things to fatten up an animal. So it's unhealthy if it's just on the open market. Go to the farmer, they say, we hardly feed any corn. If we do, we make sure it's non-GMO. We don't spray our, and you can meet somebody at the farmer's market that'll connect you with somebody, or maybe they're growing that stuff at home. They're part of a network of people that are doing that in helping each other. That's the lifestyle. And
he's right, because I get my mushrooms sent in from a farmer that I met at the farmer's market here from Michigan. It's wonderful. So I make sure when they come, I go too. So that's true. And those of you listening, please pay attention to what you're buying, even when you're in the store. Make sure that you even research what they say is organic, because organic is not necessarily organic. So how can we break free from this system and live happier and healthier? Now, I know you mentioned meeting the farmers here that we come in contact with. So is there any other way we could do that so that we can become happier and healthier?
Well, there is, I think education is where that comes down to, educating yourself. These type of things, where you listen and learn. There are a lot of publications. There's YouTube videos where people are going on there talking about this stuff. You can follow it on Facebook. There's large groups on Instagram of people that are, I was at a conference. I spoke at a conference in Southern Ohio or Central Ohio. It was a homesteaders conference where they were bringing together a lot of people that are looking for customers like in your crowd, and they're also just looking to live off the land. A lot of new people that just moved out of the city, like trying to. That's where they, the experienced ones don't go to these things. But anyhow, they had a lady there that was she was a canner. She was famous. She had millions. I don't remember, 17 million followers or something on TikTok from canning. People have got on and watched her. She brought a huge, that tent was packed when she spoke about canning and preserving food. Couldn't believe it. So there's a lot of education out there. This, search it out.
I was laughing and I'm thinking, man, if my sister is looking at this, we're going to have to talk about all the canning my mother did when we were young. I mean, I still got bread and butter pickles in there that were made from what she grew in her garden and canned. And,
really?
Yeah, and as we got older, she sent them around the world.
My mom did the same. My mom did the same, 100%. Yep. My mom canned everything. Canned soup. We made big pots of soup and canned it every summer.
Yep.
Didn't have much money, so it was cheap eating. So.
Oh, so I know you guys. So we would shell peas all the time, and then she would freeze those, and then we do the same thing with greens. So, but the thing is once you start eating the vegetable from its natural source, it has a much better flavor and taste. Not only is it healthier for you, but it tastes much better too.
Yes.
Than what you can get in the grocery store that is not necessarily organic. Yeah. So you said there were 7 of you all growing up. So
yeah.
So what did the chores look like?
So, when we were younger, we had this hobby farm. It wasn't quite as intense, and we were homeschooled. So, I was homeschooled all but 2 years. I literally went to an Amish school for 2 years. So, other than that, it was, but we, help weed the garden, help I milked the goat. We had a cow for a while. I milked the cow. We had ponies most times, horses for a while. It was hands-on type stuff. So once I got in my teens, though, about 13, my parents bought a farm, an actual dairy farm where we milked cows, sold the milk, and then during that time I started also working in other farms. Helping with hay. I was a strong boy, 14 years old, and that's and at that time there was a lot of farmers that were getting older, getting ready to retire. A lot of those farms have been bought up now by big corporations, and they're not there anymore. But at that time, there was a lot of demand for a young man. So yeah, kept me busy.
So what's the controversy about milk?
Right.
Yeah, it's like, is milk good for you? Now we're getting milk out of nuts and animals. So what's the controversy about milk? And people who want to keep it in their diet, what's a healthy way they can keep it in their diet? And should we have milk in our diet? I only ask that question because my son is allergic to milk, and I can't drink milk either. So it's like, and I turned out all right. So when people say milk, I say, why do you want that? So what is this controversy? Help us out with this.
Well, so I didn't tell you before, but I actually own a small cheese plant that supplies our store. So it's all Amish workers, but the drivers, like the guys that haul the milk. Most of our milk comes from Amish farms, and I have very strong opinions on milk. So, milk. So, but interestingly enough, I don't drink milk. So either I have asthma that I keep under control naturally. Milk is mucus forming, so it's better for me not to drink it. Do I now and then you drink a glass? Will I break out? No, but it's better for me to stay away from it. I still eat a lot of cheese. And so milk is a good source of calcium. It's a good source of protein. It's got a lot of good properties in it. Everybody's stomach is different, and we can't all handle the same proteins. We have intolerances towards different things, different reactions to different things. Right now, in America, with all the big cities, with all the pollutions, with all the toxins, and we've been hearing about all this different stuff, right?
Right.
Our trigger systems of our intolerances are so high. Like, it don't take much to just trigger us off and have us react to things. Back 100 years ago, when all these toxins weren't affecting us, then you could get away with a lot more stuff like that. You didn't hear about all the milk. That's why I believe you have nut allergies, all these allergies. Everybody's allergic to everything nowadays because of that. Now, not all milk's the same. Nowadays, the milk that you're buying at the store has been boiled to such an amazing, it's killed all the good bacteria and the bad, but that's their reason for doing it. It's been homogenized so that it doesn't separate, the cream doesn't separate to the top, which means it's been put through the centrifugal force thing. That's how they do it. And it's also been skimmed and diluted down, and then stuff added back into it. It's barely even milk. Okay. So the stuff that you buy at the store has very little good quality in it that you just buy at a regular grocery store. If you can buy, like at a Whole Foods, where you're buying unhomogenized minimum, this is what we create in our cheese plant. Unhomogenized minimum heat pasteurization. So the minimum legal heat level we heat our milk to. Mm-hmm. So it's as close to raw milk as possible that we can legally sell. Unless you're in Pennsylvania, you can buy raw milk there. But in Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, New York, most of the states in the Northeast, you cannot do that. Then you are going to want to just do the minimum heat and no homogenation. Yeah.
Okay.
And make sure it's non-GMO and organic.
That's right. Okay. Well, what about all the nut milks now? Are they really milk? Is it really milk?
So I don't have real strong like it's not milk. It's not actual milk. It's just like oat milk is. You could make oat milk yourself by soaking oatmeal and taking the, what is that? What would that, the creamy stuff? It's the milk, and then they're calling it milk. It's not milk. It's the wash of oatmeal, like soaking oatmeal and washing it off. Nuts, they're grinding it and squeezing it and getting all the juices out of it, and they're calling it milk. It's not really milk. It's healthy. Oatmeal's healthy for you. I drink a lot of oat milk. That's my go-to milk. I don't like almond milk as much, but that's just a personal preference. But it's good. It's good. It's not bad. It's just, once again, like if you have an allergy to nuts, then you're going to be just as close to, you better be drinking whole cow milk, Whole cow milk is good. It is full of a lot of vitamins, calcium, a lot of good stuff. It is a little rougher on the stomach. Goat's milk's a little gentler. That's why some people have the opinion that goat's milk is healthier. It's just gentler on the stomach, so your body can absorb it.
So how many warehouses do you all have?
We have 4 warehouses.
4 warehouses, okay. Yeah. And where are they located? Do they do different things?
No, all the same. We ship nationwide out of our Ohio warehouse. We have then all our other ones are in spots where we're really, really busy. We used to ship there by mail. We had so many customers in a tight area that because we don't have any walk-in stores. We're totally online. Nature's Warehouse is an online store, and we do a killer. And another way to get some good education, we do a killer magazine. It's free. It has up to 40, it depends on the size, but right around 40 articles on health, alternative health. A lot of the stuff that if we actually printed it online, people would be going after us. We can put it in printed paper because you got a little bit more, you get away with saying more stuff. You can put your opinions a little freer in paper.
Yes, you can.
You understand? So Our other warehouses are all our own vans out delivering, our own teams. And we go house to house. We deliver milk to houses in these areas.
So what's the website people need to visit in order
natureswarehouse.net.
Okay.
natureswarehouse.net. Super easy. Nature's Warehouse. Go online, Google Nature's Warehouse. And if you go down to the bottom, you can sign up for the Living Healthy catalog.
And the website even mentions that you have people that who man phones so that people have questions, they can get answers.
I have 20 girls on the phones.
Okay.
And from 7 till 7, you can call in. You can instead of going to the doctor, you can call us. We'll probably tell you to go to the doctor, but we might hear you out first. We have a lot of customers are super into alternative health. They don't like the doctors. And I shouldn't say they don't like the doctors. They have strong opinions on health. Okay. So They call us up and say, my daughter has a urinary tract infection. Last time I went to the doctor, they put her on antibiotics. Her stomach, we hear this whole thing. What do you suggest? And we have to say, we're not doctors. We cannot suggest. But we can tell you what a lot of other people are doing. They've been drinking cranberry juice. They've been taking this natural 4-herb infection formula. We're getting a lot of good feedback. It seems to be working. It's your call. That's how we walk. And then we make sure they got their catalog, which is probably going to, that magazine, which is probably going to have articles on that circling through and help to learn themselves what products they need for their body. That's what our goal is that our customers are become their own doctors. In fact, our number one book that made us who we were, we did with she was a midwife / herbalist, and that was the name of the book, Be Your Own Doctor. And that was the base of our, launch 25 years ago.
Wow. What was it? Oh, Be Your Own Doctor?
Be Your Own Doctor. Sandra Ellis, her nub is Dr. Mom, but they call her Dr. Mom. She's still alive. She still teaches our call center, does regular trainings with our call center and writes for us in our catalog. But she had, I get confused because she had adopted so many kids and took so many other people's kids in. But I think she had 11 of her own on top of being a midwife and raising. And she's still, every time I see her, she's in her maybe close to 70s now. And every time I see her, she's still dragging around 3 to 5 kids everywhere she goes because she's just a mom from the inside out. And she formulated a lot of our products. She's a formulator and also an educator, just a great person. Be Your Own Doctor. Yeah.
What are some of your most popular products?
So we have a great product for expecting moms. Our number one product is a supplement for expecting moms. Mama Bear Prenatal. And you don't want to go through pregnancy and not give the baby what it needs to come into this world healthy and also ahead of the game. Mm-hmm. So that's our number one. One of our we have a very good greens, actually a couple of really good greens. One is a capsule, one is a scoop that you put in. It tastes great. It's like smoothies, or you can just mix it in water. Another big seller for us, you mentioned just before we got in here, was the natural column. That's one of our top sellers. Trace minerals. Or that's not trace minerals. We do have another one. We just add magnesium mix from Trace Minerals. That's also very good too. The brand is slipping me on the natural column, but it's in there. You search natural column, we got multiple flavors, and we also have the gummies. The one I take a tablespoon every night, put it in hot water, let it fizz, and add a little cool just so I can get it drinking down, and it relaxes me. It helps my chest for my asthma, and also relax. I can go to sleep that way.
That's pretty cool. So those of you who are listening, be sure you go out and check the catalog out and check the website out and give some things some try. I think it's really nice that you do have a call center to help people make some decisions, because it is a bit overwhelming. That's just me.
Yeah.
When you walk into the stores, all the health food stores, and you don't know what's what, and then you go online and there's as many different opinions about things as there options too. So it's great that you have someone that people can ask questions to and talk about what they should take or maybe consider or even not consider, because everyone shouldn't do everything. So what are some easy steps for people who are listening to this podcast now can start to take so that they can take care of their own health? As I want everybody out there to be healthy, okay? Spend money on vacation, not on doctors.
Well,
I'm not mad at doctors now. Doctors, don't come for me, okay? But if you had more vacations, you'd have less everything else.
Yeah. You cannot buy health, right? You can't buy it. You can work hard and get money and buy everything else, but if you don't have your health, what good is it? So 100%.
So what were some of the things that your mother even felt were just some of the fundamental tenets of health, of good health?
Right. So my mom says, and my mom's extreme, like I said, she doesn't, I don't eat as near as extreme. I do normal food very regularly. My mom does not. My mom is not a vegetarian, almost. Like she only eats very, I don't know, like at Thanksgiving, she might eat a little turkey or something like that. She's also pretty much raw. So raw and green is the best stuff you can eat. If it's raw and it's green. We probably lost half your listeners right there. Raw and green. But that's honestly the truth. Yeah.
I like raw.
Lettuce. The greener it is, the more chlorophyll it has in it. Chlorophyll is the closest product ingredient that you can eat to your blood. If it's organic, if it's healthy, it'll actually purify your blood. Your blood is what feeds your whole body. So the greener it is, there you go. That means it has more chlorophyll in it. And I would like the other thing that why my mom is so raw is because when you cook, let's just say you take cabbage and you fry it, you kill a lot of the properties of the chlorophyll that feed your blood. So.
Cabbage tastes better raw anyway.
Yeah, it does.
Someone support me out there now.
Well, I do like a good cabbage soup in the fall, but yeah, 100%.
Yeah, cabbage is wonderful raw. You get cut up some raw cabbage and some raw sweet potatoes, and I'm having a good time.
For lunch, I had a cabbage spinach salad. I had grilled chicken last night. I chopped up a couple things of chicken on top of that, and then I had a dressing made out of olive oil, lemon juice, some seasoning that we sell. It's a ranch seasoning, and just a little bit of balsamic in there. So there you got your greens, some protein, and of course lemon's good for you. Lemon cleans your chest, and it's very good.
So eat as much raw as you can. Add it to, you can have cooked food too, for those of you who are in shock and awe right now. So, but have as many green things as possible, and then eat as much raw as you can. So in some cases, that's just maybe adding a little salad to every meal. It can be simple, small steps you take, but every small step you take toward eating better is a giant step toward having better health.
Can I add one more thing?
Oh, yes, you can.
Limiting the sugar, processed sugar, white sugar, and flours. Whole breads and those type of things. Have bran if you are going to cook, and bread's good. Bread is real good, and especially if it's whole grain, it's got a lot of bran. It's got a lot of energy in it because of the starches. Especially for kids and stuff, it's required. But if it's bleached and processed and a lot of sugar, then that actually can pull calcium and nutrients out of the body as it passes through the body. So the wholer the food is, the more value there is.
So what about raw sugars and things like that? There seem to be a hit. Is that such a thing? Is it really raw?
Yeah. So a lot of our sugar comes from beets and corn. And beets and corn in their natural state are good for you, right? And sugar cane, very little of our sugar comes from sugar cane anymore. We think of sugar cane for sugar, but actually, the sugar cane is good. Sugar cane is full of molasses. That's where molasses comes from. And molasses, from if you grew up in the South, that is nutrients.
That is nutrients. It's good too.
But what they do to get the sugar like we like it is they just keep cutting all the nutrients, all the molasses that and make byproducts that are all these different things, and they get it down till it's just a crystallized whitish powder, and then they bleach it. And when they bleach it, they wash out all the nutrients. And that is what it's bad. If you would actually eat brown sugar, so brown sugar can be, you got to make sure it's right, because a lot of the brown sugars are white sugar that just added some stuff in. But natural brown sugar actually probably has some molasses and minerals in it. That brown in there is minerals. Good for you, especially if it's organic.
What about the raw sugar that's sitting on the shelf in the store? Is that good for you? I'm sitting here saying, okay, so now I'm learning sugar has beets in it, and I'm allergic to beets, so no wonder I'm dying over here. Okay. So
I'm allergic to everything in the sugar cane plant. Can you believe that? Anything, and even though I could, just a piece of sugar cane is good for you, but I can't eat it. I'm very, very sugar me.
Okay. So
sugar on the shelf is the whiter it is, probably not good for you. If it's we sell like organic raw cane sugar at the warehouse, and that is probably got a lot of minerals in it. It's not that bad for you in moderation, right? Then we're okay with that. There's a lot of alternative sugars coming out nowadays, though. Stevia. My favorite is coconut sugar. You can get it I love coconut sugar. Xylitol, erythritol. There's a lot of them, and a lot of them aren't giving the side effects because they're just how they're derived, and also they're not giving the side effects of diabetes and long-term ailments that come from some of the more processed sugars.
I know, and some of the doctors now are saying that the processed sugars are also causing high blood pressure too. So it's not just the diabetes or some of the other things. It's akin to high blood pressure. They're beginning to say that salt has been getting a dirty name.
Yeah, salt they go back and forth on. I think that we all need salt. If you didn't have salt, you wouldn't be you wouldn't want to drink water, and you wouldn't want to function because you get sweat and that whole thing. But our processing nowadays, they use so much salt that most of us are getting overdosed on salt. That's why it's bad.
Okay. And we have to remember the custody and the overprocessing. So I guess, but I don't eat white sugar, but I remember when I did, and it was like really sweet. But then it's like, you're going to eat for health or how, because you're supposed to eat. Your food is actually your medicine, and your medicine should be your food. And your mother knew that long time ago, and we need to get back to that. So if you're looking at a normal American's plate, what would we take off?
What would I take off?
Guys.
Well, I mean, obviously, there's not much on the normal American plate that's really that good anymore. But we see, I'd like to say that we are seeing a big sway. Like, people are paying attention, and the education's there, and health has declined in a country that should be getting better. Health has declined. It's brought an awareness, and people are thinking about it. And most people know what organic and non-GMO, maybe not non-GMO. Most people have an opinion on organic. That wasn't 10 years ago. So
that's true.
We're going in the right direction. A lot of positive. And so if you start seeing that show up, the solid proteins, the salad, that the rolls would probably be the first thing to go. Obviously, the pie, the donuts, those type of things. But the protein, we do need protein, especially children. And if you're going to be vegetarian, I have nothing against vegetarian. My mom almost is. Um, you can get enough protein on a vegetarian lifestyle, but it's harder work. It's easier to eat chicken, and some people, if you don't have the money, make sure the kids are getting, and don't get those chicken nuggets from McDonald's. I just seen that Buffalo Wild Wings is getting sued because somebody said that their chicken wings are no more than a chicken nugget. There's a whole court case going on, but they're on to something. There's very little chicken in those things. Your kids need a whole, that whole chicken, and they need, chicken breast. That breading is not protein.
Right, and it's fried in a whole lot of grease that you have no idea the history of that grease, or when they last changed it, if they did, and if they're frying everything in that same vat, which they are, people. Okay,
yeah,
it's everything in that same vat. So if you're like me, anaphylactic for seafood, it's like I can't even have fries over there. So be careful. Just be careful. So what was it like when you had an opportunity to stray away from the healthy diet? Everybody strays.
Yeah.
And how long did you stay gone before you came back to your senses?
It was a kind of it didn't happen like all of a sudden I just strayed. I started working, got a job, was eating lunch at McDonald's or something like that, and then got my own place. Now I'm eating dinner and breakfast at McDonald's as I was single. And then I met my wife and we started dating. Of course, we started cooking and paying more attention. So I started feeling better. But she didn't have any history in health. So even when we cooked, it was not real good. It was better, but not real good. And that's when I really peaked. And then I started making decisive decisions on my health and my diet, and it cleared up actually surprisingly quick. I was off all the drugs. So when I strayed, I had always had asthma since I had my first attack at 9 months old, a baby, and my mom had treated me all those years naturally. I did have a rescue inhaler, but I did not use it I didn't have to use it very often. She controlled me by diet, supplements, all the things. When I started not paying attention, and I was, in my early 20s, I maybe didn't take care of, didn't sleep a lot, worked a lot of hours, maybe partied on the weekends. It's not a healthy lifestyle. Then I ended up in the emergency room, and they sent me out home with 3 prescriptions, Nasonex, Singulair, and albuterol. I already had albuterol, Singulair, and Symbicort. So that I was on for a year until I woke up and said, "Hey, I know I can control this naturally." And probably it took about 7 months to get off all those things and get clean.
Okay, so so now you are still eating healthy.
Yeah, that was 10 years ago.
Okay, and no health problems since then. So we do know that your food is your medicine.
Yeah,
and it's keeping you healthy.
I do. It's funny. I'll be feeling good, and I'll start getting weak, and I'll start just eating some things that I know, and next thing I know, I'm getting ready to go to bed. My chest is tight and heavy, and or my sinuses are plugged up, and I realize, hey, I know what it is, and I just got to clean it up. I've been slipping. Be more, and take my vitamins, do the thing.
Yeah, I know. It's sometimes you just slip a little bit. So, so do you have kids now?
I do.
And how are they adapting to the diet?
So my wife wasn't raised like me, and I'm a lot easier going than my mom. So was with my kids, we were brought up very strict, and I have no regrets because it made me who it was. But it was a childhood, we lived in we grew up in a different era, right?
Right, right.
So my kids don't eat as extreme as I do, but it's funny. They listen and they know the candies we keep in the house, and when they do get candy or something like that, it's like one, you're getting one, when we do that game. And like I already see them making decisions and choose. They're now 11 and no 12 and 14, and making choices on their health and stuff like that. I still can't get them to eat salad, but hopefully someday.
Yeah, I was a little strict with my kids, so they ate healthy too. But I had a lot of allergies, and I didn't want to trigger anything with them. And then they stayed on the path. So
Did they?
yeah, they stayed on the path, and and my son's son, my grandson,
Oh wow!
he will even call you on your food. He says,
Really?
"Is that even healthy for you to eat?" Yes.
Really? How old is he?
He's 6. He will
Oh,
call you on your food, right?
wow.
Yeah. There's only one pass, and that's chocolate. So I'm trying to orientate him toward darker chocolates. So it's like he's okay about 75%, but that 85%, that's not happening to him yet. So yeah, so it's really funny to see how kids react to that.
They do. They do. They pay attention.
Yeah.
On Sunday, I said to my son, "What did you do with all your Easter candy?" He said, "I gave it to my cousin." I said, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." I knew we don't really eat that much anyhow, so it told me he's been getting it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what you hope for. I guess I don't want, if I can help it, I don't want my kids to go through that spell where they have to, like, I want it to be a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Of you see what I'm saying? That's what I'm going for. Well, I haven't been quite as strict, but I don't know what the future brings. Well, whether they'll walk the course, and every day I hope and pray they do.
Well, they will. We generally come back to where we start from.
Yeah,
so, for those listening, do you have any particular advice you'd like to share with the audience?
Well, I always like to spend a little time. I think we actually talked about a lot of it already. You do, by the way, you asked some really great questions, very pointed, and I very much enjoyed this. I have the 3 steps. By the way, Twitter. I'm very active on Twitter. If any of your followers are on the Twitter, I'm constantly firing stuff off. Don't expect to be mad at me politically, but expect it to me to be whatever, because I say it the way it is, and I change when I see something new and think this is I'm always willing to learn. Like, I'm not, but when I see it, then I'll say it. The one thing, if you'll go to my Twitter page, you'll see my top 3 things, and what most of my conversation is about is the 3 steps to controlling your health, owning your health, being in control of your life. I believe that the government controls us way more than I like. I am a very anti-big government, anti all this stuff, right? It's who I am. And I believe the only path to freedom, this is crazy, is through our food. Because if you're eating healthy, which we've already talked about, you're not depending on the doctors, you're not depending, and they got you when you're depending on doctors. What do? You need health insurance. You need all these different things. My parents, 7 kids, we never had health insurance or the doctor either. And I'm not saying don't go to the doctor. By all means, go to the doctor. You need to go to the doctor, go to the doctor. But I'm saying that if you're healthy, you don't need to go to the doctor. And you are what you eat. I believe our government figured that out a long time ago. And just like we're paying attention to stay healthy, they understand that a sick people is a needy people. and we have a whole commerce that's built around that, around unhealthy foods. Things are getting passed through legislation. Right now, there's a big bill going on that I'm super worried about out and there where they're starting to do so we have GMOs. Now they're going to put mRNA.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on it. I don't understand it yet, but I know it's not good. I know it's not good, right? I got an opinion on it, and I will be posting. If you follow me on Twitter, I'm hitting this regularly, and I actually had a big long meeting today with my team, because we have 3 people that we're pulling information from different places to find out what's going on, so we can this is really, really bad, and it's really, really deep, and possibly if they get this legislation through, we're all going to be eating it. If you're just eating stuff, just not paying attention to what you're eating and tracking its history. So the step number 1 is getting control of and it's not cheap and it's not easy. It takes work, but your health is worth it. Become free. And that may mean planting a garden, knowing to know where your food comes from. You can't afford something else. It may require you to plant a garden. It may require you to take a Saturday and drive out of the city, or go somewhere where there's homesteaders and farmers they're out there trying to produce for you. And there's a lot of them. I spend a lot of my time talking to them because I try to buy as much possible local farm stuff like that to offer. And I think the normal person will be amazed how hungry these people are. Like, how do we find the people in the city that need our wares? So you don't always have to grow it yourself. There's connections, and sometimes if you buy direct, you can save a lot of money. You don't have to buy through me. I have a list actually I give out to people that have different farmers that have products that just want to sell direct, because I like to support the system. And but take control of your health, take control of you, and make the right choices. Study, research, follow our website if you want. There's other websites like ours. Our call center's there to help. There's resources out there to take control.
And I do some gardening, so I want to tell everybody the food is much, much better when you grow it. I like red, yellow, green peppers, but once I started growing them myself, I love them.
Really?
Okay. And the Brussels sprouts are just wonderful. And then all of the herbs, you got to try it. They have these veg trucks for you all who don't want to lean over onto the ground. You can plant it up high. You got to give it a try. So find something you can grow and use yourself. And that way you'll be able to see what we're saying is actually much better. And it's full of all the nutrients too. You do have to share a little bit with the animals unless you cover them up, I discovered, because everybody's got to eat.
Yeah, I didn't get any peas last year. The bunnies got my peas.
Yeah, that happened to me one year. I didn't get any because they all got it, but that's okay. I mean, they got to eat too. So it's like, so now I grow twice as much to leave them some.
There you go.
That's right. So I want to thank you for being here with me today. I want you to remind everyone again of where they can find you and how they can reach you. And for those of you listening, get your pencil and paper now, because this is a teaching session when you come to my show. So where can they find you and how do they reach out to you?
Just search Nature's Warehouse. That's who we are. We're Nature's Warehouse, nature'swarehouse.net online, and we're on all the social medias: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're under. So our publication is Living Healthy. That's our magazine. We're on Twitter under Living Healthy, and then also I'm on Twitter. Just my name, DJ Laudon, because I'm a junior. So it's DJ Laudon on Twitter, at DJ Laudon. You can find me there. And I'll get and on Nature's Warehouse, fill out the box. Somewhere it's popping up all over the place. Too much, I tell my team, but it's there. You can fill it out, put your email in there, and we'll start sending you information. We'll start sending you emails. We'll send you, and then you can request there for the catalog.
Okay, and he's right. You can get the catalog. It is on the website. It's at the bottom on the first page, so you don't have to dig through a bunch of pages. So be sure to go and sign up for that website so you can get some information. And as he mentioned earlier, they do have people who man phones, so you can ask questions and everything, so you can get started on the journey to make sure that your food is your medicine and your medicine is your food. So with that, thank you very much. I'm going to close out today's show as usual. I always remind everyone that may this day offer exactly what you need in each unfolding moment. I want you to be inspired and to further notice. I want you to just simply celebrate everything, okay? There's no good or bad. Call it all good and celebrate it. Do not go gently into that good night. Find a heel worth dying for and take it. Be the person that you are waiting for and make today so awesome that yesterday gets jealous, and above all else, do it your way. I'm Stephanie Wilson-Coleman, the Empowerment Doctor, and it has been a blast. You all have a great evening.
Life's too short to drink cheap champagne, so I decided to buy me a better brand to taste with my strawberries. What